Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi. My name is Ashrin binti Jamal Syahid Gudel. My metric number is 18B1191. We are from the group 4. Today I'm going to do the part of the introductions. Okay. Financial management is mainly responsible for planning, organizing, directing, and regulating the company financial operation. Financial management practice include the application of general management theory to the company financial capital. Then the aim of preparing this report is to fully participate in the financial analysis using financial statements or other relevant sources. Then the research conducted for this report focuses primarily on the calculations of ratio and the opinions expressed by those affected about the business in accordance with the definition on the basis of the criteria maintained. The company of HEAVE Berhad and focus lumber Berhad are selected as it is presumed that the company is suitable to further investigate the report. The following part of the report will be focused on this company, and part of the analysis will be carried out accordingly.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nofahim binti Waslan. My metric number is A18B1227. So I will talk about the nature business for the two company. Okay, for the first company is HEAVE Berhad. HEAVE Berhad was joined in 1993 as a private restricted organisation under the name of HEAVE Sdn Berhad. The company was changed over into a public restricted organisation in 2004 and expected its current name and was thusly recorded on the fundamental leading body of Bursa Malaysia Security Berhad in January 2005. Okay, next for the mission, there are three missions, which is first is improve goods, which is make all the higher ability business opening for the Malaysians. Second is productivity, which increment productivity through energy saving biomass plant. And the third one is income, which enhance return for investor of heavier board through upgrading development and proficiency. Okay, next, let's talk about the product from the HEAVE Berhad. Okay, HEAVE supplies for some application including furniture parts, feasting set, speaker box, entryway fabricating, office framework, and DIY furniture segment. Okay, next, we go to the second company, which is Focus Lumber Berhad. Focus Lumber Berhad organisation was fused in Malaysia on 30 October 1989 as a private restricted risk organisation and was hence recorded on the main board of Bursa Security on 28 April 2011. Focus Lumber Berhad primarily exercise assembling and offer of pressed wood, facade, laminated veneer lumber, and speculation holding. For the product from the Focus Lumber Berhad, there are three products, which is Focus Lumber Berhad also supply domestic and foreign hardwood. The product and service include plywood, veneer, and the last one is laminated veneer lumber. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lim Zifang and my metric number is A19A0244. Now I will explain about the part ratio analysis. First is current ratio. From the table, we can see that the current ratio for HEAVE Berhad in year 2012 is 0.74 times, in year 2013 is 0.78 times, and for year 2014 is 0.96 times. It shows the increased trend in these 3 years. It indicated that the company had no problem in satisfying their short-term obligation as they come due. This company will more focus on non-current asset compared to current asset. In annual report, HEAVE bought Berhad shows that non-current asset in year 2012 is 256,614,000 ringgit Malaysia. In year 2013 is 239,147,000 ringgit Malaysia, and year 2014 is 225,806,000 ringgit Malaysia. This trend is decreased in every year, while the current asset in year 2012 is 65,492,000 ringgit Malaysia. In year 2013 is 74,224,000 ringgit Malaysia, and in year 2014 is 71,007,000 ringgit Malaysia. This trend show increase in year 2012 to year 2013 and decrease in year 2014. Now, the current ratio for focus rumah Berhad in year 2012 is 5.07 times, in year 2013 is 4.88 times, and for year 2014 is 10.78 times. It shows the inconsistent trend which are decreased after that increase. It indicated that the company become more focused on current asset compared to non-current asset. In annual report, focus rumah Berhad for non-current asset in year 2012 is 32,112,595 ringgit Malaysia. In year 2013 is 30,728,520 ringgit Malaysia, and in year 2014 is 28,795,750 ringgit Malaysia respectively. This trend is decreased in every year compared to current asset in year 2012 is 85,581,967 ringgit Malaysia. In year 2013 is 99,171,340 ringgit Malaysia, and in year 2014 is 101,029,056 ringgit Malaysia. Next is quick ratio. From the table, we can see that the quick ratio for HEAVE bought Berhad in year 2012 is 0.42 times, in year 2013 is 0.49 times, and year 2014 is 0.67 times. It shows the increased trend in these 3 years. The quick ratio of this company shows that it's less than 1 from year 2012 to year 2014, and indicated that the company not able to be fully paid off its current liability because the ratio is low and less than 1. While for the focus rumah Berhad in year 2012 is 3.98 times, year 2013 is 3.78 times, and year 2014 is 8.27 times. It shows the inconsistent trend which are decreased in year 2013 and increase in year 2014. In year 2014, the quick ratio is 8.27 times, which is the highest in these 3 years. The higher the quick ratio means the better the company liquidity position. The higher ratios reflects that the ability to pay its short-term obligation without rely on inventories. The quick ratio more than 1 is good and represent the company is fully equipped with enough assets to be instantly liquidated to pay off current liabilities. In year 2012 to year 2014, the quick ratio for focus rumah Berhad is more than HEAVE bought Berhad because all the quick ratio is more than 1. Now I will explain about activity ratio. In activity ratio have inventory turnover, average collection period, account receivable turnover, fixed asset turnover, and total asset turnover. That the inventory turnover for HEAVE bought Berhad in year 2012, 2013, and 2014 were 6.03 times, 6.02 times and 7.96 times respectively. It showed the inconsistent trend which is decreased 0.01 times in year 2013 and increased 1.94 in the year 2014. This caused by the foreign currency risks. According to the website Bank Negara Malaysia, the rate of ringgit Malaysia had been fell in this 3 years. In the January of year 2012, the currency rate for USD is 3.5100 ringgit Malaysia. In the January of year 2013 is 3.0355 ringgit Malaysia, and in the January of 2014 is 3.2865 ringgit Malaysia. It can clearly see that the currency rate is decreased from year 2012 to year 2013 and increased in year 2014. Moreover, this had affected the cost of goods sold and inventory of the company. While the inventory turnover for Focus Lumber Berhad in year 2012 is 5.64 times, in year 2013 is 5.08 times, and for year 2014 is 4.83 times. This shows discrete trends in these 3 years. The impact of foreign currency also affect the inventory turnover of Focus Lumber Berhad. Inventory turnover of Focus Lumber Berhad decreased in year 2012 to year 2013 because the foreign currency had dropped in the beginning of January in these 2 years. In the year 2013, the inventory turnover of this company also decreased while the foreign currency had increased. Next is average correction period. We can see from the table the average correction period for HEAVE Board Berhad in year 2012 is 15 days, in year 2013 is 64 days, and in year 2014 is 59 days. This shows inconsistent trend which is increased and then decrease. It indicated that the performance of the company has proven in collecting the debt and need to improve because it shows inconsistent trend in this 3 years and shows that the company had used more time in collect the debt in this 3 years. While the average correction period for Focus Lumber Berhad in year 2012 is 24 days, in year 2013 is 31 days, and in year 2014 is 38 days. It showed that increased trend in average correction period in these 3 years. This indicated that the company used less time to collect the debt in these 3 years. The company should improve in average correction period which are collect in the short time.
Hi, my name is Norfazin binti Abdul Karim. My metric number is A1NA0475. I would like to explain about the account receivable. The account receivable for HEAVE Board Berhad in year 2012 is 7.29 times. In year 2013 is 5.70 times, and in year 2014 is 6.21 times. In year 2012, the company had used efficiently way to collect the receivable because the account receivable in this year is the highest. In year 2013, the account receivable had decreased 1.59 times. This shows that the company had not effectively in collecting the receivable. While in 2014, the account receivable is 6.21 times, which had increased 0.51. The reason that inconsistent in account receivable is the company had increased in the cost of goods sales. In year 2013 to year 2014, the cost of goods sales had increased. For Focus Lumber Berhad in year 2012 is 15.53 times. In year 2013 is 11.96 times, and in year 2014 is 9.50 times. It shows decreased trend in these 3 years. In year 2012 to 2014, the company had used short time in collect the receivable because the account receivable of the company in year 2012 is the highest. The company's effectiveness in collect the receivable compared to year 2013 and 2014. This shows that the company had to improve and use efficiently way to collect the receivable in the short time. This can let the company use it to increase the cost of production and then produce a high quality of goods. According to the annual report, the cost of goods had increased in year 2012 to 2014. Next is fixed asset turnover. The fixed asset turnover for HEAVE Berhad in year 2012 is 0.72 times, in year 2013 is 0.80 times, and for year 2014 is 0.89 times. It shows the fixed asset turnover for this company is decreased in this 3 years. The reason of fixed asset is decreased is the company had increased in cost production to let the quality of goods is become high. In year 2013 to 2014, the cost of goods had the high quality of goods that will affect the sales of the company. The sale of the company had decreased within these 3 years. For focus lumber Berhad in year 2012 is 4.13 times, in year 2013 is 4.79 times, and for year 2014 is 5.22 times. Sales for this company is increased continuously in this 3 years, but the investment in property, plant and equipment had decreased. In these 3 years, the company became more focused on current assets such as increase in inventory. It can clearly see that the inventory is increased in this 3 years compared to the previous year of the company. Next, total asset turnover. The total asset turnover for HEAVE Berhad in year 2012 is 0.57 times, in year 2013 is 0.61 times, and for year 2014 is 0.68 times. A lower ratio indicates that the company is not using the asset efficiently and has internal problem. It can see that the sales for this company is increased, but the total asset is decreased in this 3 years. The company had decreased in investment in non-current asset, which is decreased investment in plant and equipment. This will affect the ratio for total asset turnover of the company. It shows that the company does not have use well their total asset to generate the sale because of the total asset turnover is low. For focus lumber Berhad in year 2012 and year 2013 shows the same trend, which is 1.13 times and increase to 1.16 times in year 2014. The total asset turnover of the company is in a satisfied level. The sale of the company is increased, but the total asset is decreased in year 2012 to 2013. In year 2013 to 2014, the expenses of the company had increased, which the company used it to promote for advertising the goods. This shows that the company had used well their total asset for generating the sales. In the overall aspect, the business is profitable and no wasted, as well as demonstrating that their asset is still valuable and do not need to do replacement. Although the total asset turnover of HEAVE Berhad and focus lumber Berhad are increased in these 3 years.
Selamat sejahtera and hi Dr. Savani. My name is Han Japing and my metric number is A1980167. At this part, I will analyze on both of the company from 4 aspects. W ratio for HEAVE Berhad show a downtrend from 2012 to 2014. According to Annual Report 2014, the reason for showing downtrend is the long-term loan and borrowing stand in a large amount that decreased continuously among these 3 years. and this amount of the reduction was stand in a large amount compared to the decrease of the total asset of the company. Meanwhile, the debit ratio of the focus number Berhad also saw a stable trend from 2012 to 2014. According to their annual report 2014, the trade and other payables stand in a large amount that decreased in year 2013 and 2014. On the other hand, the number of trade and other receivables was also achieved the higher number among these 3 years. Therefore, the reduction of liability and the addition of the asset helped the debit ratio to be reduced continuously. In comparison, the ratio of the both company was less than 1, means that the both company was more significant and more financially independent. Next, the debit to equity ratio of HEAVE Berhad in year 2012 to 2014 was decreased continuously. According to their annual report 2014, the reason drop was their company had increased its capital equity while at the same time reduced their long-term and short-term loan and borrowing in these 3 years to finish with a debt to equity ratio decrease. Meanwhile, the debt to equity ratio of Focus Lumber Berhad displayed an unstable trend among these 3 years. According to their annual report 2013, the reason it unstable was their company had increased in addition of dividend payable and trade and other payable. As the result, the debt to equity ratio was increased in 2013. In contrast, HEAVE Berhad had a higher debt to equity ratio compared to Focus Lumber Berhad. It showed that HEAVE Berhad was often related to higher risk, means that they had become more active in financing their development by borrowing compared to Focus Lumber Berhad. Next, the return on asset of HEAVE Berhad increased continuously among these 3 years. According to their annual report 2014, the expansion and taxation of the company showed downward trend. On the other hand, the charge of taxation to company was also decreased compared to the previous year. Meanwhile, the return on asset to Focus Lumber Berhad increased continuously throughout these 3 years. According to annual report 2014, the increment of net profit after tax had caused the return on asset increase. However, the total asset will show slightly downtrend because of the reduction of the cash and bank balance. In comparison, the return on asset ratio of HEAVE Berhad was lower than Focus Lumber Berhad. This means that the firm retained lower percentage of its sales in net income and did not utilize it as well to generate sales more efficiently compared to Focus Lumber Berhad. Next, the return on equity of HEAVE Berhad showed a double upturn trend among these 3 years. According to their annual report 2014, the equity reserve was increased slightly. It presents the balance raising from other transactions such as foreign transactions were increased among these 3 years. Meanwhile, the return on equity Focus Lumber Berhad showed an unstable trend. However, the return on equity of Focus Lumber Berhad was still in a good level, which indicates that company return on equity create a value for shareholder. It shows that the industry leading company was good in converting profit with a small position of equity. As a result, the return on equity HEAVE Berhad was lower than Focus Lumber Berhad. This means that Focus Lumber Berhad inventor will get higher return of investment since the company earn higher net profit after tax. Thus, the Focus Lumber Berhad was more able to generate profit from its shareholder investment in the company. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Masura binti Radlan. My matric is A18B1223. I will present about the profitability ratio. First, I will present about the gross profit margin. The gross profit margin is reflect how successful the company executive management team is in generating revenue, considering the cost involved in producing their product and services. Okay, we can see in the table shows HEAVE Berhad was increased 0.07%, which is in 2012 they have 0.06% to 0.13% in a year in 2013. So, and it rise until 0.15% in 2014, which is rise about 0.02%. So meanwhile, focus lumber Berhad was increased 0.01% in a year from 0.22% in 2012 to 0.23% in 2013. So it rise about 0.01% to which is in 2014 they have 0.24%. Okay, next is about how they handle. HEAVE Berhad handle with fulfill customer order in the next of the year because of the shortage of the worker in 2012. So the percentage of gross profit margin is increased, and then HEAVE Berhad also focus in developing higher value of product better than cost management and more efficient. This is because of currently competitive in a particular board capacity, and their macroeconomy is unstable. So about the focus lumber Berhad, they fix all the problem in act faster and also more efficiency. They have problem about shortage in logs. Then when there is a future shortage of logs supplies, so they purchase vinyl sheets from abroad. This is because of the highest logs price charge. Goods has arisen drastically. The operating profit margin is the amount of the profit that organizations earn from $1 of sales after deducting variable costs of manufacturing such as salaries and raw material, but before deducting interest and tax. So we can see in the table both of the company are consistent, and we can see HEAVE Berhad operating profit margin was negative 2.59% in 2012, but it improved 1.18% to 3.77%. Is drastically improve, and also continue to the rise about in 2014 about 5.23%, which is its rise about 1.46%. The operating profit margin of focus lumber Berhad in 2012 is 4.56%. Then they rise 2.34%, which is in 2013 is 6.90%, and increase 0.64%, which is in 2014 is about 7.54%. The most of the company revenue was used to promote sales, advertising, fees of the warehouse, and so on. Focus lumber Berhad higher of nearly 10% margin compared to HEAVE Berhad. The net profit margin of the company or business group is the ratio of the net profit to sales. So we can see HEAVE Berhad increased 1.67%, which is in 2012 is 1.79%, to 2003 is 3.46%, and greatly rise 4.66%, which is in 2014 they have 8.12%. And while focus lumber Berhad was increased in 2012 is 7.88% to 1.72%, which is increased about 3.84%, and is also rise in 2014 2.43%. So how this happened? So the board of company increased the revenue stream from particular board manufacturing with 80% of the total export, and the main of the increasing net profit is due to higher the production capacity, improve the grade of the production of the product quality, and also increase the sales in the value added product. Next is increasing demand from other country would drive the wood industry to remain positive, and also since company making wood-based item. This reopened to meet the demand from the export market. The export value of timber product also will be rise. Thank you. That's all from me.
The recommendation is based on the ratio analysis and finding discussed in the body of the response, and based on the calculation of the data, the overall profitability seems have up and down during the period of year 2012 to year 2014. However, for the ratio such as current ratio had decreased slightly between the HEAVE Berhad and Focus Lumber Berhad. This is because the company had no problem in satisfying the short-term obligation as they come due. However, activity ratio for the inventory turnover between the company also have the inconsistent trend, which is decrease and increase. This is because they need to use the raw material and produce to the goods and transportation to the other country. The decrease of the company is also because of the foreign currency risk. For the total asset turnover for HEAVE Berhad show the increased trend for the year 2012 to year 2014, while Focus Lumber Berhad has same trend in year 2012 to 2013 and increase in year 2014. The total asset turnover of the company is in satisfied level. For the profitability ratio such as gross profit margin, operating profit margin, and net profit margin had increased slightly. As the result, the return on equity of HEAVE Berhad was lower than Focus Lumber Berhad throughout the year between the year 2012 to 2014. Focus Lumber Berhad was more able to generate their profit was its shareholders' investment in the company.